Last time on the Total Drama Luxury Tour, the Naked Mine. Here our miners take on their third challenge. Once they reach the Cave of Crystals, our midshipmen harvested the crystal selenite to bring them back out of the mine. Due to Duncan dropping his lighter into the box of TT, the admirals lose their lead and their chances of a first victory. It was the skippers who made it first and won with the killer captains in second. Ultimately, it was Beth who could not take the heat, so she had to leave the kitchen, or in this case the game. Who will be next? Find out here on Total Drama Luxury Tour. Cody up here. Gwen beckons to him. Almost there, Gwen, the geek answers back. Cody climbs up the top of the ship to his gothic crush. Closer and closer he climbs as Gwen cheers him on. You almost have it, Cody. Here I come. As soon as the Gap-toothed Geek reached up to take her hand, he sees the goth locking lips with the mohawked delinquent, Duncan. The punk looks down at Cody with a cruel grin and kicks him off the side of the ship, causing the geek to plummet screaming into the ocean. Gwen! Cody screams just before he snaps out of his dream. He sits up, looks around his cabin and sighs as he lies back down. Cody then turns to his side and notices Sierra smiling at him as she rests next to him in his bed. Having a bad dream again, Codykins? Sierra asks with a big smile. Ugh, hey Sierra. Cody responds, now growing more accustomed to her stalking. Don't you have your own cabin to sleep in? Oh, but it gets so lonely in there, Sierra whined. Cody only sighed, got up and signaled her to leave so he could get dressed. The Fangirl pouted because of this but begrudgingly complied. Cut to the screaming admirals. It's tough knowing Beth is gone. DJ whined. Yeah, but Duncan and Gwen instructed us to vote her off, Jeff reminded. I couldn't do it. There's no way I would want to boot someone for that. Besides, there's no one on our team I hate, DJ defended. Are you gonna spend the entire season without voting anyone to be eliminated, dude? Mama said I should never hurt a friend in any way. Cut to the rabid admirals. Noah silently peeks to the upper deck to see Alejandro chatting friendly to Tyler, Lindsay and Sadie. Confession cam. This is not good. Looks like Alejandro has an established alliance with 3 other people. However, I do know each of their weaknesses. Tyler is uncoordinated, Lindsay is a dunce, and Sadie is just a drooling fangirl. Perhaps I can play on Al's level. It's the only way to stop his second reign of terror, Noah devised. Noah, Izzy and Justin are my current targets. One is clever, one is unpredictable. But I think my next victim will be the one who carries the sin of envy, Alejandro decided. The ships pull over to their next destination according to their GPSs. Once again Chris Chef and the intern workers await them. Once the contestants walked off their ships, they noticed the refreshing cold breeze of an Alaskan forest. Heather was the first to notice and mock Chris's new garb. Nice regalia, Gramps. Chris was wearing suspenders, a long-sleeved plaid flannel shirt, and heavy boots. Ignoring the Queen Bee's remark, Chris announces, Welcome Shellbacks, to Kodiak Island, Alaska. It will be here where we will be living the lumberjack lifestyle. Yeah dogs, we're in my territory now, recognize, Ezekiel boasted. We got the muscles in our group, this ours. We are going to dominate, Duncan confidently stated. For today's challenge, Chris instructed, you lumberjacks and Jills will be cutting down trees and then chopping them down to logs. Afterwards, you will be log driving them downstream the river to the nearby lumber mill. There you will be making them into boards, which you will then build a shack out of. Whoever builds theirs first will be treated to a traditional lumberjack breakfast. Flapjacks, and more flapjacks. I will totally impress Linz this time, Tyler declared. Each logger will choose between a personal axe or a 2-man saw, Chris continued. Oh, and watch out for the wildlife here. They may not be fond of our practices. That aside, begin. Cut to the screaming admirals. This is our time, admirals. Let's show those chumps who rock the bronze. Duncan cheered. DJ, Ava and Jeff all grab axes and immediately ran to some trees. Harold struggles to even life his axe. Need some help, sugar baby? LeSean asked. Maybe. Harold answered back. Why don't we share a saw? LeSean offered as Harold happily agrees. Cut to the killer captains. Cody sadly watches as his gothic crush blushes looking at Duncan work the axe against the tree. How am I supposed to win Gwen over when it comes to muscles? Cody, want to share a double sauce? Sierra invited. Cody sighs, I guess. You sure about that? Heather interjected. If you want to impress someone so badly, why don't you show her how strong you can be when pushed hard enough, you think? Cody asked, hopefully thinking about what Gwen would think. Seems odd Heather wants Cody to try so hard to impress me, but who am I to complain? Sierra mistakenly stated. Heather looked to the camera, muscling up Cody. It's only to get a stronger and more loyal alliance member. Nothing more, she says as she turns from the camera. Cody frowned. Is Heather trying to help me, or trying to kill me? Swing, swing, swing. Heather kept on ordering as Cody struggles to keep up with each swing while chopping down the tree. Why are you even bothering? Courtney asked angrily. Don't blow our chances at winning just to make the Terp feel better. That's it. If you don't lay off my Cody, Sierra threatened while clenching her axe before the geek cut her off. Hee. Hopefully I won't be a Terp for long, Cody happily said as the sit sneered and everyone else was surprised how well he handled the insult. I've learned to take Courtney's belittling. Besides, I may have a way to perhaps make her nicer, Cody admitted. Rabid Admirals, Alejandro, now shirtless, swings his axe and swiftly works on his tree. Sadie and Lindsay stop using their double saws to watch him work. Justin gets frustrated and takes off his shirt as well. Not only that, but he also takes 2 axes and chops with both hands. Ladies, what do you think of this? Justin yells out. The girls completely ignore him and Alejandro smiles at him. Oh Justin, jealousy is an ugly trait, the Latin archenemy responds. Justin points at the camera. He did not just go there. Noah had better have a plan by now. Alejandro then turns to see Jeff distracted watching Bridget. I'll be right back, he tells everyone as he walks over to the party animal. Jeff, mi amigo. Have you settled things with Bridget yet? Alejandro politely asked. Not yet. Still a bit hesitant, Jeff responded. Well, there she is, and now is as good of a time as ever. But it's up to you, in case you do remember. Forward, confident and aggressive, the Latin hunk said as he walked away with a devilish smile. Alejandro smirked. Now to sit back and watch the fireworks. Cut to the killer captains. Watch out, y'all. The Zeke is gonna show you all how to chop wood. The homeschool bragged as he swung his axe hard enough against the tree that he was unable to pull his axe out of it. 1 second. Ezekiel tries his best to tug on the axe handle, while Heather only scoffed at him and continues her own work at supervising Cody. How can you guys do this to trees? Bridget complained. Might not be the most environmentally friendly challenge. But we can't lose, Trent reminded as he continues chopping. Most of the birds have already migrated from here anyhow, and no sight of nests or animal holes in the tree, Cody added. Besides, whichever one of us who wins can promise to replant some. Bridget then smiled. I guess, thanks Cody. Enough talk, swing. Heather cut in. Bridget is great to have as a friend, probably the only girl on our team that I can talk to on an emotional level. Besides, she's friends with Gwen, and maybe will put in a good word for me, Cody admitted. Suddenly Jeff appeared next to his surfer girlfriend. Hey Bridge. Oh, hey Jessie, she greeted nervously. Heather, immediately going to her teammate's defense. Don't try to distract. Back off, Jeff yells, inheriting Alejandro's advice on aggressiveness. Bridget, Heather, and the rest of the killer captains were surprised by his outburst. Shaking off the released anger, Jeff turned to Bridget and brought out the direct part of Alejandro's advice. Look, this is too much for me, Bridge. I need you, and I can't function without you. Jeff, this isn't healthy for you, the surfer girl responded concernedly. Finally, the party animal brought out the confident part and grabbed his girl in a tight embrace and smooches her uncontrollably. Jeff, let go. The surfer girl finally kicked him back, forcing him to fall on his butt. Jeff, we need some time apart, Bridget calmly says, trying to hold back her frustration. But Bridgie Bear, he pleaded. Jeff, please. Are we breaking up? No, we just need to spend some time away from each other for a little while. It's for your own good, sweetie, Bridget assured. Jeff sadly walks away. What is wrong with him? It seems all he ever cares about anymore is making out with me. Is my mouth all he ever thinks about? Why couldn't he be more considerate, sweet and gentle? Instead of just trying to tongue wrestle me, Bridget complained in frustration. Alejandro smirked. Not the ending I imagined, but perhaps the seeds are still sprouting. After a few minutes of walking, he runs into Alejandro. You set me up, didn't you? Jeff angrily yelled to the manipulative genius. Jeff, Did you listen to my advice? Alejandro asked sweetly. Yes, all of it, yes. My 3 qualities, yes. What about my other one? What other one? The one about leverage. I may have forgotten, Jeff said, recalling his advice back in Rapa Nui. Just remember, she cheated on you. Next time, remind her of that fact, Alejandro said as he walked away smiling. Jeff sighed. I better wait a while when I can talk to her again first, but it may be my only option at this point. Meanwhile, Bridget sat angrily while Cody was chopping a tree next to her. The geek finally takes down the tree. Yes, there is muscle in the Codemeister after all, Cody proudly stated before rubbing his now sore arms, leaving the surfer girl chuckling. Cody then asks the queen bee, Heather, could I take a break? Fine, Courtney. Sierra chopped the tree in pieces. Heather instructed. Where are you going? Bridget asked Cody as he was walking away. I'm going to talk to Gwen. You shouldn't do what Jeff just did, Bridget warned. This isn't about me, it's about helping Courtney. What? I'm gonna ask Gwen to give Miss CIT her long overdue apology. That should at least make Courtney feel a tad bit better, Cody said proudly before walking off. Bridget pointed her thumb. Now there is a boy who has the traits I mentioned. Where's he going? Heather asked angrily. To talk to Gwen about Courtney, Bridget answered. I'm gonna go listen in, Heather said. You shouldn't. Bridget was about to object but kind of wanted to eavesdrop too. To secretly follow the geek. Cut to the rabid skippers. Justin finishes chopping down his tree. Timber, he yells as the tree falls down in Tyler's direction. His name's Timber, Lindsay asked. It's Tyler. Oof, the tree fell on top of him, once again losing consciousness. As Justin and Lindsay run to Tyler's aid, they see an angry grizzly bear recover from falling off the cut tree. The bear let out an ear-shattering roar at the two. The duo scream as the bear takes notice of Justin's chiseled face. It walks up to him and starts licking it. You're affectionate, Justin nervously stated. The bear then bites on Justin's shirt collar. What are? The grizzly then carries the model away. Aha, someone help, Jason, Lindsay yells in a panic. Cut to the screaming admirals. Now that all the trees were cut down for the admirals, they proceeded to cut them into logs. Gwen continues to admire Duncan leading his team to removing the extra branches and doing a thorough job overall. She then notices a certain Gap-toothed Geek approaching her. Oh, hey Cody, she warmly greeted. Hey Gwen, could I talk to you in private? The geek sweetly asks. Gwen turns to Duncan and he just shrugged, so she went with Cody to a more secure location. Duncan shrugged. I'm not going to go all territorial and sabotage myself like Trent did every time she comes in contact with another guy. Besides, Cody is not a threat. Cody takes Gwen to a secluded spot, unknowingly being watched by Heather and Bridget. What did you want to talk about? She asked skeptically. Courtney, Cody hesitantly said. Gwen's friendly smile turned to a frown. What about her? It's just that. She is still down and out over you and Duncan, so I thought it would be nice of you to just apologize for the way you took Duncan from her. I'm not proud of how I took him, but she needs to get over it. Cut to Bridget and Heather. As Cody and Gwen exchanged words, Bridget and Heather move in closer behind some bushes to listen in. Think this is close enough, Bridget whispers just as the violet-haired fangirl sneaks in between the two. Sierra, what are you doing here? Heather asks, annoyed. If a tree falls in the woods and Cody is there to hear it, you'd bet I'd be there to record it. Sierra proudly reminds the two. Cut to Cody and Gwen. I know she needs to get past it, so I thought that by saying sorry, it would be a nice boost for her to continue pursuing greener pastures. Cody continues. Like she'd ever forgive me, Gwen reminded. Of course not, and she will probably hit you if you try, Cody granted. But deep down she will feel some sort of relief knowing the remorse you feel for her, and I think it would help everyone out in the long run. What's in it for you? Gwen eyes at him suspiciously. Probably that she will stop taking her insecure frustrations out on me, he responded with his patented gap-toothed grin. I'll think about it. Thanks, Gwen, Cody said as he turned to return with his other team. Cody, wait. Gwen halted him. As he turned to her, she gave him a serious look. Do you approve of me being together with Duncan? There it was for Cody, his one moment where he can finally tell his gothic crush what he really felt about the delinquent. Cody just wanted to unload. He wanted to tell her what a jerk he was. He wanted to tell her that he is corrupting her just by them being together. He wanted to tell her that he did not deserve such a wonderful person. Above all, he wanted Gwen to be happy. So after a long pause, he finally looked up at her. Whatever makes you happy makes me happy, Cody finally stated to the girl he loved more than the world itself. Gwen smiled to the one boy who was more loyal to her than anyone she has ever known. She kneeled to his level and softly hugged him. "You're a good friend, Cody. I don't want to lose you like I did Courtney," she says as she gives him a short kiss on the forehead before walking away. "Well, at least I finally got that kiss." He gave a humble smile at the camera, despite the sadness he felt that such a wonderful person going to the arms of the most undeserving jerk imaginable. "Don't worry, Cody Wody, I'll always be here for you," Sierra promised. Poor Cody. How can someone so sweet go through so much pain? If I wasn't already with Jeff, maybe. Bridget thought. Heather shrugged. It was for the best. Now he can focus on me. And the team. Bridget, Heather, and Sierra all sneak away after listening in on Cody and Gwen's conversation. Cut to the screaming admirals. "So what was that all about, babe?" Duncan inquired. "Cody wanted me to apologize to Courtney to settle our conflict," Gwen informed. "Don't," the delinquent said sternly. "What?" Gwen asked, shocked by the unexpected response. "What we did was not wrong. What was wrong were all those countless times of her screaming at me, nagging at me, and dealing with all her bipolar crap. Sure, people may think that I had it all, but when throwing lists, contracts, and lawyers at me, my pride will not let me concede that she was the victim in this circumstance. Look, maybe it could have been sorted out better, but our past relations ended for a reason. You and I were meant for each other, and if Courtney has an issue with that, then it's her problem," Duncan reminded Gwen. "I don't know. Here, look, you are talking about trying to reason with an unstable psycho bitch who currently wields an axe." True, Gwen realized. "Let's just finish this challenge and talk about this later," Duncan said, clearly wanting to end this. "Fine," Gwen conceded. Gwen refused to look at the camera. "Sorry, Cody. I just can't. Besides, Courtney is the Achilles heel of the killer captains. And we still need a win," Duncan admitted. Chris appeared in front of the camera. "Looks like the teams are wrapping up the first part of the competition. Now they will have to drive their logs down the river to the sawmill. Who will build their shack first? Will Justin escape his grizzled fangirl? Well, knock on wood and find out here on Total Drama Luxury Tour. And we're back. Earlier, our lumberjacks in training began their challenge in Kodiak Island, Alaska, by chopping down trees and preparing to drag them down the river to the sawmill. There they'll be making the chopped trees into boards for a shack. Who will win, who will lose, and who will walk down a board made specifically for them? Find out here on Total Drama Luxury Tour. Cut to the killer captains. "It's about time you guys came back," Courtney yelled impatiently as she, Ezekiel, Trent, and Katie finished the first part of the challenge when Cody, Sierra, Bridget, and Heather come back. "Heather, Bridget, Sierra, where did you three go?" Cody asked skeptically. "Nowhere," all three answer at the same time. "Enough blabbering. We have to catch up to the other teams," Courtney reminded. Cut to Justin. Sir, somebody help me." Justin is huddled in the fetal position next to a sleeping grizzly bear. Cut to the rabid skippers. As for the rest of the skippers, Alejandro, Lindsay, Izzy, Sadie, and a now conscious Tyler drag their chopped logs to the river. "Where's Justin?" Tyler asked the team. "This is most concerning," Alejandra answered with pseudo-concern. "I fear he may not be inclined to assist our team. It's with great reluctance as the new captain that I must say that it may be in our best of interest to vote him out next." "You think so?" Lindsay asked. "Anything you say, Alejandra," Sadie said, still drooling over the Latin hunk. In fact, everyone was buying into Alejandra's suggestion except Izzy. Cadet Izzy better tell Noah, Izzy decided. "That bear must have told Jason to slack off," Lindsay stupidly said. "The team meets up with Noah at the river. About time you guys got here. The admirals and captains already started," the bookworm informed. Cut to the screaming admirals. The admirals take the lead in pulling the logs down the river stream against the captains. Each log has two carriers splashing through the cold water trying to get to their next checkpoint. "I think I see the sawmill," DJ pointed out. "We're almost there," Gwen added. "What's wrong, Team Amazon? Can't keep up," Duncan taunted the captains. "What's that supposed to mean?" Trent angrily questioned. "We're not a girl team," Ezekiel argued. Cody shrugged. "At this point, I'm used to it. Just because our strongest guy has a mullet," Heather tried to defend, not helping the boys' case. Cut to the killer captains. "Pick it up, Cody," Heather ordered the Gap-toothed Geek as he is pulling 3 logs at once using a rope weaved by Sierra. "Don't overwork my Cody," Sierra shot back. "It's for his own good," Heather argued. "He can't rely on his boyish charm forever. Some people don't like muscle-bound jerks." Bridget cut in. Hearing them argue gave Cody a confused look. What was that all about? Cody questioned. Stop talking about the terp. The skippers are gaining on us, Courtney interjected. Cut to the rabid skippers. We must hurry, team. Alejandro cheered. Izzy informed me that Al will be voting Justin out if we lose. However, I may have a gambit to pull off, Noah decided. Cut to the killer captains. Don't worry, Holmes. With my expertise in the wild, this game is in the bar. Homeschool was interrupted when the Zeke tripped over a salmon in the river, slid downstream and knocked into the screaming Admiral team. The impact caused them to drop their logs and fall over like bowling pins. Oops, sorry, Ezekiel apologized before running back to his team. You little Duncan said angrily, trying to restrain himself in front of Gwen. When his body is at his expense, homeschool may have some use to us. Ezekiel smirked. I so meant to do that, Holmes. I was about to beat that possible stoner into the ground, but I can't help but be concerned that the other terp in their team has some influence over Gwen. I better watch out for him, Duncan stated, now realizing that Cody was indeed a threat. The killer captain seized the opportunity to run past the admirals and ran into the sawmill. Chris and Chef were there to greet them. Captains for reaching the sawmill first. You will have first dibs in making your logs into boards for your shack, Chris announced. Trent and Katie mowed their logs through the saw first to create their boards. Cody was forced to put through 3 logs alone for his boards. Heather put hers in next, followed by Sierra, Courtney, and lastly Ezekiel, since Bridget wouldn't cut down a tree in the first place. I'll get to work on the blueprints, Cody offered, while tired off all the log pulling Heather made him do. We know what a shack looks like, so help us in constructing it. Sir, Heather ordered. Cut to the screaming admirals. Move it, and move it. Duncan ordered his team, as they take turns putting logs through the sawmill. Put whatever you call muscle into it, Doris. Duncan yelled at Harold. I'm trying, gosh. Cut to the rabid skippers. Finally, the third team got their chance at the sawmill and took their turns putting their logs through. Right when they finish, they see Justin run from the woods. Judge, where were you? Lindsay asked. Bear. Finally got away from it, Justin responded while being out of breath. Well, thanks a lot, you meathead, Izzy hollered at the model. Thanks to you we are behind, and we have considered you for elimination. She seemingly angrily added while also secretly winking at Justin. Justin wiped some sweat off his head. I am glad I am still strong within the Izzy brigade. But I hope Noah has a plan working. Good work, Izzy. Let's hope my plan follows through, Noah hoped. I'd under thought for a bit before speaking. It appears Izzy's past dislike for Justin is starting to reappear. Convenient. Too convenient. Cut to the killer captains. My arms and back are killing me, Cody complained as he hammers in a wall. Deal with it, Heather shot back, telling him to get to work. Almost done, Trent said, as he hammers the roof with Katie. In no time the shack was finished. Woohoo, great job, captains. Bridget cheered. What do you think, Chris? Cody asked his host. Told ya, this was ours, Ezekiel boasted. He then casually leaned against the shack wall, falling through it and leaving a gaping hole in it. I think there's a hole that needs to be fixed. Chris answered Cody's question. You useless. Heather yelled while trying to avoid redundancy. Just hurry up and fix it, Courtney barked. Cut to the screaming admirals. There, finished, Duncan said, putting the final nail in the door. Alas, victory to the screaming admirals, Chris announced. The entire team cheers happily at their first victory. Told ya Braun wins, Duncan boasted. Gwen smiled. Finally, some cabins for some privacy. Cut to the killer captains. Cody finally nailed a board over the hole Ezekiel made. Looks like the captains come in second again, Chris announced, and it also looks like the rabid skippers face their second elimination, he told the losing team as they finally finished their shack. Woohoo, good job, Ezekiel cheers his team as they glare at him. Yep, no eliminations. We sure pulled through, didn't we, Holmes? Rare. Heather silently growls at him. Better luck next time, team, Alejandro assures. At least we don't have to give a second thought on who was responsible, he continued while smiling at Justin. Come on, Noah, Justin hoped. Chris turns to Chef. Tell the admirals what they won. Chef pulls out his cue cards, the diesel engine. No longer having to man a rudder, just keep the helm at the right direction as the engine does the rest for you. It is guaranteed to last you the duration of the cruise. The engine will be in a room of its own also built by our interns. Gwen sighed. Guess we can have private cabins another time. Chris turns to everyone else. Okay, admirals will get their reward during our next destination. But in the meantime, they get treated to a delicious flapjack feast. Their team, as well as the captains, can retire to their respective ships now. As for the skippers, I will see all of you, once again at the sardine ceremony on your ship. Justin gulps after hearing this. Cut to the killer captains. We'll get them next time, Ezekiel nervously said to his team right before Heather throws Homestroll off the ship and into the sea for a third time. Cody finally soaks into the hot tub with his aching body and sighs deeply for how overwhelmingly good it felt. Sierra hops in next to him and pulls him into a deep hug. Cody Bunny worked so hard today, Sierra said affectionately while squeezing the aching body of Cody. The geek was too exhausted to even resist. This is a jacuzzi for all of us, Heather said as she stepped in with Bridget, both being unamused by Sierra's flirting. What was their problem? Cody is mine now that he let go of Gwen, Sierra complained. Cut to the screaming admirals. The team happily gulps down their meal, unable to chat due to the delicious pancakes they are gorging down on. Cut to the rabid skippers, as the team proceeded to go cast their votes. Noah grabs Sadie and pulls her to a secluded spot. What is it, Noah? Sadie asks skeptically. I was thinking, Alejandro is becoming a dangerous threat. I think we should form an alliance to vote him off, Noah said with a smug smile. I gotta go. Katie's other half then ran away with Noah knowing exactly what she was going to do. No way I would turn against Alejandro, Sadie dreamingly declared. Hope my timing is perfect, Noah hoped. Sadie ran to the Latin archenemy. Alejandro turns to his pawn. What is it, Sadie? Sadie responded while panting. Noah is forming an alliance against you. You don't say. Alejandro turns to where Tyler and Lindsay were. Change of plan. We need to vote no off instead. I just put my ballet in for Justin, dude, Tyler responded as Lindsay walked out of the voting booth. I heard you, Alfonso. I voted for Ned, Lindsay said after casting her vote. Well, that's just great. Alfonso. Really? Alejandro questions while shaking his head. Great. Well, hopefully 3 votes will be enough, Alejandro said as he nods to Sadie. Best of luck. Noah stepped in taunting. Noah, I am most disappointed in you. The Latin master of manipulation turned to the bookworm. I thought you came around to me. I suppose I must eliminate you once more. We'll see about that, Noah taunted as Justin and Izzy stood defiantly at his side. Fine. We shall see at the tiebreaker. Alejandro sneered as him and Sadie cast their votes. Noah looked worried. Crap, I overlooked that little chestnut. That scrawny little worm has just sealed his fate. He may be a clever one, but I am stronger and faster than he is, Alejandro confidently declared. Come on, Noah, Cadet Izzy believes in you, Izzy cheered. Perhaps it's time I pulled my weight for the Izzy Brigade, Justin decided. Later the team meets up at the sardine ceremony. Well, looky here. We got ourselves a tie between Noah and Alejandro. I guess it's time we had a tiebreaker, Chris stated. Justin stood up. If I may be so bold, I would like to represent Noah in the tiebreaker. What? Alejandro did not like that idea. You can't allow that, Chris. Noah smirked. Don't tell our awesome and smexy host what he can or cannot do. A host as awesome as Chris is deserves the greatest tribute to the lumberjack theme ever. Don't you, Chris? Chris smiles and looks up in the air. I don't know. You're better than Blonely would have been. Noah added the icing to the cake. Thank you, Sierra, Noah thanked. Okay, Justin, Chris had been sold, much to Alejandro's dismay. What did you have in mind? Justin turned to his hunky rival. I challenge you to a lumberjack flex-off. Alejandro, now amused by this. Very well, Justin. Let's let the girls be our judges. The team steps off the boat and back into the forest of Kodiak Island. Gwen might get a heart attack if he is watching this, Noah joked, trying to lighten up the situation. There's only room for one eye candy on this team, Justin declared. Alejandro put out 2 hands. Eliminate Noah. Break Justin. A win-win situation. Go, Alejandro, Sadie cheered. You can do it, Alexander, Lindsay added while the Latin hunk scoffed. Go, Justin, woohoo, Izzy rooted for the Hawaiian model. Chris steps in. Here are the tiebreaker rules. Both of you are to stand on top of those 2 stumps, for if one of you steps on the ground during this flex-off, you are immediately disqualified. Otherwise, whichever one of you convinces the girls to vote for you after the 3 flexing rounds, you will win and escape elimination. Since Justin won the coin toss, he gets to flex for us first in the first round. Now, round 1. Begin. The two stand on their respective stumps. Justin begins with a front double bicep pose and a confident smile. He notices Sadie blush a little after this, and so does Lindsay. Alejandro takes notice of this too and gets serious as he then does a side chest pose. The reaction of the two changes as they then drool for Alejandro. The Latin hunk smiles as he notices Izzy blush a bit as well. I would suggest we get the girls' honest opinions, Alejandro told the host. Pull out the lie detector electric chair. Sounds like a good idea, Chris complimented as he has Chef roll it into the entire Izzy brigade's dismay. Okay, round 2 has Alejandro going first. Actually, the Latin hunk said, I will allow Justin to rebound by going first, and I shall save mine for round 3. Okay then, round 2, begin, Chris ordered. Justin, too nervous to show it by arguing, continues to compete by ripping off his shirt with one tug and doing a rear double bicep pose showing his tinted backside. Izzy cheered while looking as red as her hair, and so did Lindsay and Sadie. Alejandro only smiled as he performs a front light spread pose with enough strength for his shirt to tear off by itself. Izzy shamefully blushes even redder and looks the other way embarrassingly. Sadie and Lindsay gasp in excitement, followed by an ear-shattering, Come on, Justin. You have to regain momentum. Noah nervously rooted, You can do it, Alejandro. One more round to go. Tyler proudly cheered. Chris, trying to recover from the screeching sounds of Fangirl, announces, Final round, Alejandro's up. Begin. Alejandro does a bare shirt abdominal thigh pose as the girls run short of breath watching him. Justin, let's see it, Alejandro taunted as Justin sweats. If you wish to concede, no hard feelings. Justin then turns to his Latin rival and smiles. Confusing Alejandro, Justin lets out a loud sharp whistle and pauses. What's going on? Chris asks skeptically. Suddenly from the woods, the grizzly bear that abducted Justin earlier walks in from the woods and to Justin. The shirtless model then hops on top of the grizzly. With another grin, he pulls out his trusty water bottle from his pants pocket, pours it over his head, and does a final soaked bare chest front double bicep pose on top of his bear companion. All three girls scream at looking at such a divine stance. Alejandro, angry at what had transpired, turns to Chris. He jumped off his stump. Disqualify him. The rules stated that he could not stand on the ground. Chris corrected him, as the grizzly growls at the Latin hunk. The girls were then instructed to take turns on the lie detector. Izzy sits on it first. Chris asked her, Izzy, who won it? Justin, she proudly announces. Sadie, Chris then turns to her as she sits on the lie detector. I still think Alejandro is a tad bit hotter, Sadie answered. Lindsay, I gotta go with Justin and the bear, the dumb blonde answered, remembering Justin's name at the right time. Chris formally announces, victory to Justin, which means Alejandro, you are here eliminated. Izzy, Justin and Noah jumped together and formed a group hug. Alejandro was angry, he was furious. He was enraged. Chris continues, time to walk the plank of shame. Can't I just leave from here? We haven't even left dry land yet, Alejandro asked while still fuming. Not as much fun, besides. Do you really want to be alone with her? Chris points out, as the grizzly bear growls angrily at Alejandro. Later the group reboards the ship and Alejandro is handed his lifer jack to hop off the plank of shame. As Alejandro prepares to jump, he turns to his former teammates and finally drops the nice guy act. You may think this is over, you may think I am done. But rest assured this season is young, and one way or another, I will be back. Noah, untouched by his threat, responds, Swim away, eel, swim away. Alejandro finally jumps off the ship and lands in the ocean. As he starts to swim away, the other two ships pass him. Cut to the screaming admirals. Tough luck, Al. Duncan taunts from his ship as he sails past Alejandro. We'll win for ya, Gwen added. Enjoy the sidelines, sucker. Harold also added. Bye, Squid. Leshana mocked as well. Cut to the killer captains. So long, Al. Cody taunts as well from his team's ship. Heather blows a kiss to him. Say hi to Jose for me. Third elimination. Sounds familiar, Bridget added. Alejandro was now angrier than ever and lets out a frustrated scream. Gar, this isn't over. I'll be back. I'll make you all rue the day of angering Alejandro Bromoetti. I'll be back. As the ship sailed away, a sad grizzly waves her Hawaiian heartthrob away. Chris turns to the camera as Chef flies him off the skipper ship. At least Al went out with his pride and dignity intact. Hey, who will go next at our revisitation of an old destination? Find out here on Total Drama Luxury Tour.
く立ち